Here we're going to be back into PowerPoint to finish off your calendar project using some more pizzazz in adding photos and pictures and just using word art. So I'm going to launch my PowerPoint, and first thing I want to do is kind of follow a little bit along with the assignment sheet. We have here on end of step 7, as far as the facing pages, having the month names on each of your facing pages, here I have January. I'm just going to select it, and then you can either right click and copy, or you can do Control C at this point, and then I can actually apply word art to this. This is the word art icon. If you don't see this toolbar, you can right click anywhere where it's blank, and then you can look for the word art here and just click on it if it's unchecked. So here I'm going to click on this, and I have word art that I kind of like. It looks kind of good. And then here I'm in the edit text. You can add text, or you can just leave it as is. And now I have my January, so that looks kind of nice. I think that looks much nicer than this little one here. So I'm just going to get rid of that one just so I have something here indicating what month it is. Now the next thing we can do here is on number 8 in your assignment sheet, you can insert 13 photos, one for each of the pages. One would be for the cover page, and then each of the facing pages of your month. So now I'm in January here, so I'm going to jump back to my cover page here, and here I have my name and my grade level, which is great, and we have our first Bible verse. Now I'm going to add a photo, so I can simply click on the insert menu, then picture, and my photo is actually on the network, so I'm going to go from file, and I'm looking for my cover page one. So I kind of identified them by month, so I'm going to just click on my cover page, and it comes in quite large here, unfortunately, so you just got to click and drag it down so you can see the handle, and you always want to grab it by that corner handle, and you got to be patient. I know some of these will come in really large, but just make sure you do it by the corner. If you don't do it by the corner, it can look kind of distorted, and it might not appear that distorted on the screen, but when you ultimately print it, it does kind of show up. So like if I go like this, it kind of squishes it. So if you're in a situation where you accidentally did this, you can just do Control Z, or you can go right here in the edit menu, and that also will do the Control Z as well, which is undo. So it undid it, and now I'm going to actually crop this picture because I kind of like to see just this portion of it. So I'm going to click on it so that it is selected, and it is. It's a picture, and it will bring up the picture toolbar. If not, you can right click again, and you can bring up the toolbar for picture if it's unchecked here. Mine's checked, so I'm looking for the crop symbol. So here's my crop. So once I click crop, it gives me my handles for cropping here. I can crop from a corner. You just click and drag, and it actually crops it off. Or you can just remove it if you want it back to what it was. I just wanted to actually do a side crop here, so if I hover over here, it gives me a little handle there. I'm just going to click and drag it in just to make it a little bit narrower, so now I have it cropped. And now once I have it cropped, then I can resize it again. Even I can just click and drag on the corners. And then the next thing I want to do, if you don't, let's say you don't have any pictures or photos, let's say you need to use clip art. Well, if you don't see this clip art pane, like right now I see it, but let's say you don't, you can do insert picture clip art, and it should bring up this pane as well. So if you're not seeing the pane. Now, say, I just want to search for anything I'd like to see on there. Like, for instance, let's jump to my January month. Say I don't have a photo for January, so I could just look up snowflake. That might be kind of a nice picture to put on my January calendar. So I can just bring in this this snowflake, and again I can resize it, and you can resize and crop your clip art just as well. Just be careful you're not overlapping there. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of white space here, so I think I do want to crop this. So I'm going to click the crop symbol, and then I'm just going to simply click and drag so that it's just in the middle. And once I click out of it, if you click out of it, it turns it off and it reselects it. So now I have my snowflake, and maybe I just want my snowflake off to the side, and then I can put my text right next to it, and you can actually adjust the text quite easily by doing that. And then if you get all your clip art there, you should be set with that. That was option number 9, or step number 9 on your sheet. And then also I must emphasize at this point that this must stay a white background. It just costs too much for printing. So if it's not white, then I won't be printing your calendar. So just make sure it's white, and then you have, you know, the option of adding a couple little clip arts if you want, but not too much. If it ends up using up a lot of ink, I probably will opt to not print it. So keep that in mind. Also, you want to keep in mind that you have to keep like a good ½ inch between your text and your pictures and the edges here, because we're going to be binding the calendar, and so we need some room for that, and for putting a hole punch so that they can actually hang it if you opt to do that. So the next thing here is number 11. You can use a different font color if you just, you know, want something a little bit different than this. You can actually click in the font color here, and you can just click on any colors you want and change it up. And you can change the font type. So if you like something a little more like handwriting, and then you can bold it or unbold it. I would recommend kind of bolding it because it kind of will show up better. And then the other option you have is, just so you know, you really want to keep this like 18 or 20 so that it does show up on your pages. And then, the next thing you can do is you can actually go in. I'm on step number 12 here, and if you're in your month and you have like your holiday dates and your birthdays entered, you can actually add clip art. Here, I'll do this from scratch. So if you don't have any clip art, you can actually do a search on here. Like, let's say I just want to do a birthday clip art. You just press enter, and you can just grab a birthday cake, and it comes in quite large again, and you just kind of use that corner again to size it, and you're making it much smaller now. And then you want to grab that and pop that right in there, and you want to make sure that it doesn't overlay your text, because sometimes the clip art will supersede your text. Like here, if I do this, it starts to overlay the word melody there. So you just want to kind of size it, or even crop it if necessary. So once you get that, you can add more. You could add like a noise maker maybe for New Year's Day. But it's totally your option. You got a lot of options here for just making your design just look really cool. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.